Bryan exchanging hits. Leaves her stone rolling just off center line on the top of the 12-foot. Expect both teams to really play it fairly clean early. This gives them the opportunity to really bank time that they may need later in the match. This one starting to drift just a little bit, but looks like it will come back just enough to get to the nose and roll over.
He was here this morning with his parents.
As Jen Bryan comes out of the hack for her second, we'll just again mention the matchups that are going on this evening. This is round number 6, so teams really jockeying for playoff position going into the final 2 rounds here. On sheet B, it is Marianne Arsenault, currently at 3-2, so she's looking to really keep her hopes alive, and she's playing, of course, against Kristen McDermott, currently playing out of the Halifax Curling Club, but also former team out of Dartmouth, so lots of support here for Kristen, and of course Marianne now playing out of the Dartmouth Curling Club, if I remember correctly. So that it will be a big game as Marianne at 3-2, Kristen at 4-1. On sheet D, our other feature game, we have Mary McKetton Driscoll currently holding a 1-4 record versus Teresa Breen. So those two teams looking to really keep their hopes alive with a win and a lot of help in the final round. And on sheet E, Tanya Hilliard facing off against the former Scotties national champion, Colleen Jones. So we'll keep you up to date on all those matches as we roll through this evening's action. As we see this stone here from Sheena Moore, second for Team Julie McEvoy. Again, just exchanging hits throughout this first end. Both teams really playing it fairly safe. So here we see Sarah Murphy push out of the hack here for her second of 2. A reminder that as we head toward the final stages of this tournament, if you're in the area, come on down and watch some of the action. There's action right through with 3 draws tomorrow, and of course playoff draws starting Saturday, and of course the all-anticipated championship finals on Sunday. The Scotties final will be at 9 a.m. here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. The Deloitte Tankard will be at 2. I will have the call with you for both of those finals as we determine who will be competing both at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts taking place this year at Center 200 in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and our representatives for the 2019 Tim Hortons Brier at Westoba Place in Brandon, Manitoba. On the third stones here, we see coming out of the hack Aaron Carmody, longtime talented skip at one point at the junior level, now playing with Team Jill Brothers and for the past few years and really excelling at that third position. Definitely happy to see a large crowd out here this evening to watch these exciting games really coming down to the wire as these 8 women's teams look to represent Nova Scotia for the first time in a very long time on home soil, as they'll get to compete in front of the crowd at Center 200 in Sydney. So just hitting that stone at the 12 that does come just outside, gives the opportunity for Team Brothers to play to the opposite side. Looks good weight from here, so good opportunity here for Carmody to split the house just right and really set up a good start. They do have the last rock playing the Yellow Stones. Don't forget you can get involved in the broadcast. You can tweet me at John Siteman, S-I-T-E-M-A-N. And you can send me your questions, comments about the game. Tell us where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you. So now on to Skip Stones. Here we see Julie McEvoy. Interesting to think there that just, I believe it was 4 or 5 years ago when the Scotties Tournament of Hearts was here at the Dartmouth Curling Club, Julie was actually skipping in one of the first games I ever broadcast here on Bell. She only skipped one game of the tournament. If I remember correctly, it was playing with, I believe it was Mary Madital, but I may be wrong. It was her first game skipping in the Scotties with that combo, and obviously it's worked well because this crew has stayed together for ever since. So again, one stone in, one stone out there. We'll now see our first look at Jill Brothers, the former provincial champion. She also had a great performance earlier this year at the Dave Jones Mayflower Cash Spiel. Looks good from here, so the sweeper's not even needing to touch it, so they will get it in and right on to the lid. So final stone for Julie McEvoy without the last rock here in end number 1. Thomas Moore just dusting it off here as it goes down the sheet. Now Moore just giving a little bit of extra sweep to make a curl. Rolls it. How far behind the guard will it go, or will it? And it appears that it has. But with the way the ice has been curling throughout this event, there is the opportunity to be able to get at it from the outturn side. And I will actually correct myself there with the last time this event was held, the Scotties Tournament of Hearts was held in Nova Scotia. It was actually 1992 as it was played at the Halifax Metro Centre. And it was the legendary Connie La Liberté from Manitoba who won that final, defeating Canadian champion Julie Sutton in the a 7-3 final at the Metro Center back in 1992. So these teams looking to join a part of history by competing for Nova Scotia on home soil. So final stone here with the last rock. Looks like that's going to be a force to a single. Needs full 8. And they'll put it right there to the side of the button for the single point in the first and take a 1-0 lead through 1. Julie McEvoy will have the last rock in end number 2 playing the Blue Stones. As we get started with end number 2, we'll take a quick moment to thank some of our many partners of the Nova Scotia Curling Association. Harding Medical, the sponsors of the Stick and Wheelchair Championships for the NSCA. Tim Hortons, the sponsors of the Hit, Draw, and Tap competition, which the championship finals for that competition will actually be taking place on the arena ice at Center 200. So what a great opportunity for those junior curlers to get to experience playing on the arena surfaces. Also thanks to the Curling Store, who are always great supporters of curling in Nova Scotia. And of course the folks behind the scenes at 360 Live, who are working very hard to bring you all the action. And we thank them for making us look good and making the curlers look good out there on the ice, doing a lot of great work. So as we see that stone comes to rest, side button looks like it's going to be a pretty similar approach to this end.
It's a bug.
As well, since I see at least one of them out there in the ice shed, we also want to take a moment to especially thank the ice crew led by Tracy Froud, and they put a lot of great hours and they're very dedicated in making the ice the best it can be for events like this. So we really want to thank them, and of course thank the many volunteers of the Dartmouth Curling Club for all that they've done to help put this event on. So opportunity here for Team Brothers now, with that stone of Team McEvoy's going through, to be able to protect that stone at the side of the button. It will come in to the top of the 8, sitting 1-2. Opportunity here, just simply with the way that those two rocks are placed, looks like a pretty good opportunity at a double.
The outside and the inside.
And Jill Thomas, having played a lot of years at second and third, definitely has the ability to make some of those good hits too, but only hits one and rolls to the side. Glad to hear my Lawn Bowls friend Corey Boudreau tuning in. Thanks for watching there, Corey. Sweeper's working on it here. Gets a nudge, but will get their own. Difficult result there for Team Brothers. Will now put them kind of a little bit on the defensive now, as Julie will be able to call for Sheena Moore to split the house and sit 2. Now we have all the 3 other games all through first end. We'll let you know there that Marianne Arsenault takes a single point in end number 1 against Kristen McDermott. Kristen McDermott will have the last rock in end number 2. In our other feature game, Teresa Breen, the former provincial finalist and also a former multi-time representative for Ontario at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts back in the 90s. And she takes a 1-0 lead on Mary McKetton Driscoll. And on sheet E, it's a blank end again between Colleen Jones and Tanya Hilliard. So Hilliard will retain the last rock in end number 2, playing the Blue Stones over on E. As we continue, both teams exchanging hits, so you're going to need to see probably a little bit more aggressive style play to get a few of those, the blue moving. Yeah, that's who I remember there. Teresa Breen was the longtime third for the legendary Ann Merklinger, as they curled out of the Rideau Curling Club in Ottawa. They were 2-time silver medalists in the National Scotties, coming up against the legendary teams Kelly Law and I believe, if I know, 1998, that may have been, that was Kathy Borst of Alberta. So one of the great curlers of the sport there, Teresa Breen. As we see Erin Carmody gets the hit, rolls over toward the other. So opportunity here for Julie McEvoy calling on her third, Jennifer Kraus, to make the hit. Most likely try to roll away and avoid setting up the possibility at a double. Rolls a little bit over to that side, so looks like it's going to give an opportunity, almost like a guard in the house. That's sewn at the top of the 12. Opportunity for Erin Carmody to get the hit, roll to the inside to the 8-foot, and try to sit her single. Murphy working on it there, trying to get it to roll, will do so. Rolls right behind, buried, sitting shot stone. Now I've seen many times there Kraus able to make some of these big weight shots, so McEvoy calling on her for the run. Thomas signaling, weights up, so it looks like it's a little bit heavier than they expect. Will come just over, a little bit too much weight, so it drifted out, but will come to rest just biting the edge of the 12-foot. Shotstone remains Jill Brothers, so now a chance to sit 2 if they can get the roll inside. Oh, now how cool is that? I just got a message that they're in from one of my former junior high teachers who actually introduced me to the sport of curling way back in grade 7. So glad to hear you're tuning in, Miss Rushton. As we see hit, rolls over and sits 1-2. And yes, I do remember going over to curl at the Mayflower way back in grade 7, and of course meeting Colleen Jones, the former Scotties champion. Definitely quite a thrill. And haven't gotten a chance as much to have the opportunity to curl the past few years, having been at university at Mount St. Vincent. But hoping to get back into the curling scene a little bit more in the next few years once I've graduated. So first of two here from Julie McEvoy. More working on it here, really putting some effort trying to hold the line. We'll move it over, just covering the stone at the back of the button, sitting in the top of the 8. So again, Jill Brothers, former winner of this event, and if I remember my stuff correctly there, she qualified for this event, finishing at the top of the provincial rankings. Actually, I am wrong there. The two that qualified, if I remember correctly, for the CTRS was Marianne Arsenault and Colleen Jones. So as we see hit there, sits 4-2. So that will leave an opportunity for Julie McEvoy facing a double. So this year, Jill Brothers did have to face the Scotties qualifier for the first time in a while there, but she was the winner at the Dave Jones Stanhope Simpson Insurance Mayflower Cash Spiel. We brought that final to you live back in November. Sweepers on and off with this one, looking for the double. Will jam outside there, and it will be a steal of 1 for Team Jill Brothers to take a 2-0 lead through 2. Julie McEvoy will retain the last rock in end number 3, playing the Blue Stones. So, of course, as we have the eyes of Nova Scotia set on the Dartmouth Curling Club for this both the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and the Deloitte Tankard, we also are sending our best wishes once again out to our crew out in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, competing in the New Holland Canadian Junior Championships. Of course, that having Nova Scotia represented by Graham Weigel and Caitlin Jones. Caitlin Jones, the defending world junior champion, currently sitting in 4th place with a 5-3 record, so still lots of curling left for them as they just finished the championship pool shortly, and hopefully she'll be in that top 3 and get a chance to defend that title. And if I remember correctly there, Graham Weigel is also doing pretty well in that He did pretty well there in the pool play. Unfortunately, having a little bit of a tough time in the championship pools. He's currently sitting at 4 and 5, but really playing well there, the former national under-18 champion. As we see similar style of play in the last few ends, a very offensive style, hit in, hit out. So that stone comes to stay at the top of the 8 foot. So these teams, the winner of this event will, as we mentioned, advance on to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts at Center 200 in Sydney. And quick turnaround for them, as that will be starting roughly 3 weeks from this Saturday. Of course, as many provinces are now deep into the playdown process, determining their representatives, there's lots of exciting curling action that is going to be going on the next few weeks, both as they go to represent at the Tim Hortons Briar and the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And we're excited to bring this all to you here, live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. So as we see the stone here from Sarah Murphy.
Yeah, you guys can have it.
Looking to protect that stone of theirs at the top of the 8 foot, will do so. So shot stone will belong to Joe Brothers. So now seeing a little bit of a different style compared to what we've seen from Julie McEvoy. Taking advantage of that 5-rock rule, going for the guards early, and then now taking the opportunity to come around and in. Sweepers working on it here. Thomas and Kraus will come to rest. It appears to be shot stone there at the back of the 8 foot. Just a little bit more room to see the white paint. So enough to tell me that it is shot stone. Leaves Brothers to call on Sarah Murphy to peel out the guard. Sweeper's not even having to touch it. It gets contact, will roll out the other side. And will sit still second shot. Opportunity now for Sheena Moore to put up the guard once again and protect. So Thomas working on it here, trying to get it to curl. It seems to be out a little bit further than they had hoped. But we've seen the ice really starts to hook, come hog line in. So it does come to rest at the top of the 12 foot, sitting third shot. On to third zones here again. Aaron Carmody of Team Brothers looking to remove that stone at the top of the 12. If they get the back one, then it would be a bonus, but will come to the side. But does push their backstone in for shot. That's what I would always jokingly say when I was skipping at the under 18 competitive level. There's your plan A, your plan B. Sometimes that's about a plan E or F style shot, but still it gets the job done.
Shadow says yellow. That's what they call it. The yellow, right?
Yeah, it looks like blue. It's blue.
Of course, I just saw there over on sheet B, there was a measure, and one of our officials came on out to
I'm looking at the shadow.
facilitate that, and we also want to take a moment to thank them for the many hours of hard work that they've been putting in this week. A big event like this, it's a lot of hours and a lot of games, but they really do a great job at what they do. Second and 2 here for Aaron Carmody of Team Brothers. With that stone at the back of the 4 foot. They are down 1 coming into this shot, so Jill Brothers calling for the draw down to it.
We throw almost every
Sweeper's not touching it this early there, but looks like it's starting to come down now. So now you'll see Murphy coming down to it. Just needs to tap it back a little bit to make it a 2, at least 1 for sure. Question is, which one is shot stone between the blue that they just made contact with and the yellow sitting top 8. Kraus trying to get this stone buried behind the guards. Sweeper's working on it a lot, trying to get it by. Will it be enough? By 1. By 2 and into the 4 foot. Great result there for Kraus. Question is it open? It does appear to be a bit. Enough that I could see Jill Brothers going for contact on that. If you get contact on the blue, you could potentially be able to stay there for at least 2, maybe more, depending on how the top blue moves. As Jill Brothers and Aaron Carmody discuss their options here, it's neat to think there that the connection there for Jill Brothers in relation to their coach Taylor Ardeal. He's probably been one of the busiest people on the side of the playing side, because while he still is here coaching the Jill Brothers rink, he also has a little bit of business of his own in this tournament, playing lead for Stuart Thompson, currently holding a 4-1 record in Deloitte Tankard. They'll be in action coming up tomorrow morning in the battle of the brothers, as I like to call it, between Stuart and his brother Kendall. So I have this feeling that Oh, who knows? Maybe we may see a few of the Thompson family out there to watch. That's always been an exciting matchup. Last year it ended up that they were in a tiebreaker, and I got to bring that to you last year. Joe Brothers working on it. There with this, their sweeper's working on it. Will it get there? It gets the hit and will sit for 3. Great. That was a really good result there. Sweepers really held the line just enough. Probably couldn't put a paper in between as it got just enough to get there for a count of 1, 2, 3, and really forces. Now you're gonna have to see this hit made with that stone at the back of the 12-foot. The back yellow, in my view, probably it's gonna be a little bit challenging to get it out of there, but definitely a possibility because there is enough room. First of 2 here from Julie McEvoy. Thomas working on it here. Moore joins her. Gets a hit, will get over the rollover just behind enough to be shot stone still. Definitely more opportunity for Joe Brothers on this stone versus the other, where there was a little bit less stone open for her to get access to. Following the completion of this end, we'll try to update you on some of the action taking place across the sheets there. It looks like we have one game that is into the 4th end already. Final stone without last rock for Jill Brothers. Looking to remove the blue and sit for a few there. Sweepers working on it. Will get it. How far will it go? It will roll over and out into the 12-foot, but still sitting 1-2. So it's going to force Julie McEvoy to go for her single. Don't know how much you hear of it on your side there at home, but we definitely have a good crowd out there as well in the ice shed, filling the stands, cheering on the players. Final stone here in end number 3 with the last rock. Julie McEvoy playing the blue stones. Whale looks a little bit up early, but coming down now. Sweepers just dusting it down. Will come to rest there on that stone at the back of the 4-foot to score her single. To get on the board, they still will trail Team Brothers 2-1 after 3. Team Brothers will have the last rock in end number 4 playing the Yellowstones. So I thought there was potential to update you on the other 2 games that are in 3rd end now, but they're running a little bit behind, so we'll keep you up to date on them as we receive them. But on sheet E, Colleen Jones scores a 2 to get on the board against Tanya Hilliard. So it's 2-0 Colleen Jones over Hilliard through 3. As we get started with this fourth end, we see a first stone here from Jill Thomas. Just comes to rest, guard center line. So that will call on Jill Brothers, and specifically calling on her lead Jen Bryan to play the come around draw. Bryan has been the lead for the past while there for Brothers, and definitely has played really well over the past few years there with them. Comes to rest at the back of the 8 shot stone.
Big blow up things. They went down the hill, across the road, and up the floor. Yeah, just have a good time.
Sweepers working on it here. Moore and Kraus trying to get every inch out of it. How far can they drag it? They will get it to the top of the 4-foot sitting shot stone. Murphy working on this one early from Bryan, trying to get a little bit of curl out of it. And you see that style of sweeping a little bit different than what we've been used to seeing in maybe 3 or 4 years ago, with the one sweeper on a certain side depending on how they want the rock to go. Caused a little bit of controversy a little while ago, but again, we could probably have a debate for hours on that one. As I think I heard a few uh-huhs there in the crowd beside me. Some of the teams have really gotten strong at this new style. Of course, you see a lot of it up on the national and international circuits, especially there, as we see Kraus and Thomas working on this one. Gets a little bit of a roll over to the side. Will sit 1-2. Murphy going here for contact, will get 2 of them, rolls the other blue over to the side of the 4-foot. So great shot there from her to limit the danger. Some more working on this one Here with this, Thomas sweeping for her. Just sit her too. So Murphy gonna take a shot at removing at least the stone at the 4 foot. Gets the hit, rolls over. Will say shot stone at the back out of the 4. So third stones here again. We see Jennifer Kraus, third for Team McEvoy, trying to remove that stone of Team Brothers. Will jam on the back, but still sits shot stone. Just simply with the positioning of that back yellow, it does produce an opportunity for Carmody to sit her too. It could be a pretty dominating start early if they're able to get to that 4-1 lead. Because if they could do the logic of forcing to 1 and taking 2 again, that could make things interesting, but it does jam on the back. Still sit shot stone. Kraus on this one looking to hit and stick on that stone at the 8 foot, but will roll out. Now we do have updates of the games over on sheets B and D, as it'll be a single point for Kristen McDermott. 2-1 lead remains for Marianne Arsenault, who took singles in the first 2 ends. So Marianne will have the last rock in end number 4 playing the Blue Stones over there. And on sheet D, it's a deuce for Teresa Breen to take a 3-2 lead over Mary McKetton Driscoll. Brian working on it here, trying to hold the line, will hit and roll out. So clear house here. Facing Julie McEvoy on her skip stones. Good to see some around the clubhouse, some of our talented young junior curlers out selling some 50-50 tickets, and they can be inspired by some of the talented women out there on the ice. Some of them coming out through the junior program in Nova Scotia, including Mary McKetton Driscoll, who was actually, way back when I started, she was one of the older juniors that was helping me learn the game there, which is pretty cool. So McEvoy gets that stone to the edge of the 12. sit shot stone. Definitely 100% doable there to hit for Jill Brothers.
All he does.
Ryan working on it here, really putting in a lot of effort to get it there. It will do so. Gets the hit, rolls over to his side, will sit shot stone. Looks like it's lining up toward potentially a blank end, which would be the first one that we've had this match. So final stone for Julie McEvoy without the last rock here in end number 4. Looking to hit. Hold right there and put the pressure on. Actually, correction, you don't want it to hold, you want it to stay down and in. And we'll do so, we'll bite the edge of the 12-foot. So it's going to make it a little bit more challenging for Jill Brothers to blank, because I don't know how much of that stone you can see from the hack end, and because of it being close to the edges, it can get a little bit tricky at times. So she'll settle down into the hack, go through her pre-shot routine, and readies to throw. Their final stone for Jill Brothers, up by 1 here in end number 4. Sweeper's working on it here, will get the hit, will appears to be out, but they're just taking a check, and it'll be a blank end there as they hit roll out, and Jill Brothers will retain the last rock in end number 5, playing the Yellowstones. Reminder that following this end we'll have a short break of about 5 minutes, just as we do ice maintenance, so that will be following the completion of this end upcoming. Stick with us, because we will have the remaining action throughout this match. Glad to be bringing you this action live here, streaming courtesy of Bell and our colleagues at 360 Live, and we thank them for all their hard work in helping us put this on. Bringing championship curling here in Nova Scotia to you, the viewers at home, wherever you may be tuning in from, and we would love to hear from you where you're tuning in from. Maybe questions or comments about the game. We'd love to hear from you. You can tweet me at John Seitman, or Facebook me, Snapchat me, wherever your preferred social media platform is. Chances are I'm probably there. So we'd love to hear from you as we continue on in this match. Sweepers working on that one early, but coming right off now. Comes to rest top four. Good result there for Team Brothers, getting that one buried just behind the guard, of course. Sweeper's not touching this one. They're just waiting for it to go. Will come around to the back of the 4 foot, so a little bit too far. Sits second shot. So we see the stone from Brian. Sweepers just waiting for it here, trying to get it just that little bit more. Now will come to rest. Third shot just biting the edge of the 8 foot. As we're on second stones here, Sheena Moore coming in on the outturn side, but will come to rest far short from the house. Rex on her own guard. So Sarah Murphy here for Team Brothers, looking to play around those guards. If they could get enough curl to get to that back blue, that would really put the pressure on. Sweepers working on it here. Carmody and Brian, but it will rack off the guard.
I think we do one, if not two of those yellows if he came across it, but I don't know how much of the stone there. The full stone should be.
So the skipper, McEvoy, calling her second Sheena Moore down here just to be absolutely sure about the call. Sometimes that little bit of extra reassurance is what you need to give yourself the confidence to make the shot the skipper wants you to call, to play for. So second of two here from Moore. Sweeper's working on it here early, trying to get by the guard. It looks like it will raise. How far will they get the other? Comes to rest 12 foot. So shot still remains team brothers at the top of the 4 foot. As Sarah Murphy readies to throw there, and we mentioned a little bit about how the standings are in through 5 draws, but we will just run down there in saying there, Jill Brothers currently holding first place through 5 draws with a 4-1 record, along with Kristen McDermott, also at 4-1. Currently in 3rd place, Marianne Arsenault at 3-2, as well with Tanya Hilliard at 3-2. Colleen Jones and Julie McEvoy both at 2 and 3. So Jones and McEvoy both looking to get a win to keep their hopes alive, because they'll need at least 2 wins and a loss from either Arsenault or Hilliard. So that makes that game between Hilliard and Jones just a little bit more important. There is a win from Jones would really make things interesting, as we see there. Murphy gets the hit. We'll stick right there. One lonely blue stone at the back of the 4 foot sitting second shot is the difference. As you see 4 yellow lurking there. So Kraus will come on down to have a discussion with her skip, Julie McEvoy. Both teams have played this past 4 ends fairly quickly, so they have definitely banked enough time to be able to have this type of a discussion. So McEvoy puts the broom down. Kraus will ready to go, and she'll have her first of 2 in this end. Looking for contact on the yellows in front, probably to open up a bit of a draw path. Sweeper's working on it here. Gets
Good evening, ladies and
the
gentlemen.
yellows
Just a
moving.
Reminder that we're coming up to almost the end of the 5th end for some of these teams. So if you would refrain from using the washrooms at this end of the building until the girls are on and off the ice, because they only have about a 5-minute break. We have a men's washroom down on the left-hand side towards the stairs, and then upstairs are 2 public washrooms. Thank you.
So yeah, pretty much all the games just about reaching that 5th end break. As we see Aaron Carmody going for the hit on the blue. Will be able to get that, will do so. Just narrowly misses the back blue, which would have been a really good result there.
Yeah, I know. But I meant if.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well, no, I don't think so.
So Kraus looking to clear a few yellow around. You need to get contact on that stone at the biting the top of the button to really create a good opportunity at this end. So Sweeper's working on it here. Will it get there? Nudges it, will get shot stone set there at the back of the 4 foot. Good little chip shot from Kraus.
It's still there.
I don't think that.
So Carmody appears to be playing around there, around the guard. Really, if they can get around the guard and through the port, that would really be a good result. Sweeper's working on it early. Challenging hole to move through, so does jam on the guard. Shot still remains. Julie McEvoy at the back out the 4 foot.
You almost have a pocket to come this way. You're coming this way. You're playing along the
So on the skip stones here in end number 5, Julie McEvoy. A little bit of a similar style shot of they can tap up the stone that they have sitting in 12 foot.
They're going to have to measure a couple of those. This is final stone.
So Sweepers not particularly touching this one as of yet. And now just dusting it. They're getting it through the port. Will tap back, but does sit enough to sit two. So now the pressure comes back on to Team Brothers. So now, very important here for Brothers and Carmody to discuss their options here. To me, there's a few challenging options, but I think you could play like a raise there on the yellow on the right, the one just biting there, or you play that draw round, which appears to be what they're hoping for. Appears to be a steal of one for Kristen McDermott in at number 4. So tie game in the, if I remember correctly, that was the rematch of last year's final, which I brought to you live along with Dan Hobson on that great game where it was a Marianne Arsenault victory. We expected a tight game between Arsenault and McDermott, and they are definitely living up to expectations. We'll keep you up to date with those two, and of course the other 2 games in play as well. Here's where it really starts to curl, so you could see it through the port. Will it curl enough? Does get access there a little bit. Jams not enough to get in. So probably you're going to see another chip shot here, or to try to either a chip based on what originally I thought it was, or you could also with the amount that it's been curling, you can really get through that port. It would really put Joe Brothers under pressure going into the fifth end break, especially if you can see the potential for a multiple point steal. Sweepers working on it early. Thomas and Moore. Thomas jumps back in, Moore joining her, trying to get it through the port. Gets it just around. Great draw there from McEvoy to sit 1, 2, 3. Pretty much, if you're Joe Brothers, you really have no other option but to play the same shot as your opposition skip there and try to come in around. Land the rest of the side button.
I would take it back hard guard.
Reminder that following the completion of this end, we will have a short 5-minute or so break before the start of the second half of action, so stay with us as we will have complete coverage right through to the end of this matchup. This is the final broadcast of the day before we resume play tomorrow. Final stone in end number 5. Jill Brothers facing 3 with the last rock playing the Yellowstones. Brian and Murphy waiting for it to come down.
We'll get by that guard. Skinny, but it's going to get by that guard.
It will get by the guard. Will it stick? And that will be, appears to be a steal of 3. Wow. So that will be a 4-2 lead for Julie McEvoy going into the fifth end break. We'll see you back in about 5 minutes for the second half. You're watching the 2019 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to continuing coverage of the 2019 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented live from the Dartmouth Curling Club here on Bell, streaming in partnership with 360 Live. I'm John Seitman, here with you on Sheet C, bringing you the action from Team Julie McEvoy versus Team Jill Brothers in round 6 action here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. So we saw Brothers forced to 1 in the first, steal of 1 in the second. McEvoy took a single in 3. We blanked the 4th, and going into the 5th end break, it was a big 3-point end for Team Julie McEvoy. What a great end there to force the 3 out. So that's where we come to you. 4-2 lead for Julie McEvoy. Jill Brothers will have the last rock in end number 6, playing the Yellowstones. So we'll try to update you shortly of all the action across the sheets. All the action coming right down to the wire as following this game. There is only 1 round left to play before we determine who will advance from this group of 8 to the final 3, who will compete Saturday in the semifinals, and who will have the bye to compete in Sunday's final. So that stone comes to rest. Top 12. Sitting 1-2 is Team McEvoy, that will now bring the hit weight out for Jen Bryan. In case any of you have been needing any refresher there of the teams, we'll just remind you once again, of course. Team Julie McEvoy curls out of the Halifax Curling Club. Their lead that you saw throwing a few stones ago was Jill Thomas. Their second is Sheena Moore. Their third is Jennifer Krause. And their skip is Julie McEvoy. They also have alternate Kaylee McLean and Coach Bruce Lonis supporting them. And Team Jill Brothers, the former champions and current champions of the 2018 Dave Jones, Stanhope Simpson, Mayflower Cash Spiel, after they defeated Veronica Smith over there at the Mayflower. Their lead is Jen Bryan. Their second is Sarah Murphy. Their third is Erin Carmody. And their skip is former, again, multi-time champion, and if I remember correctly, my curling history as well, former Canadian junior champion, Jill Brothers. And as well, as mentioned earlier, their alternate is Bliss Joyce, and their coach is Taylor Ardeal, and they curl out of the Mayflower Curling Club. So they get the hit, roll over to the side, will sit, second shot. Stone of Team McEvoy is just at the top of the button. So I don't know, we may have some of our viewers from Sheet D, which is the McKetton, Driscoll, and Breen matchup. There may be some slight technical difficulties in the commentary of that game, but video should be all still there for you. But if you've come over and are now tuning in with us, we truly appreciate it. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the rules of this event there, we play 10 ends of play. If we are tied at the completion of those 10 ends, we would go to an extra. The teams had a total of 38 minutes of thinking time. And of course, we are playing the 5 rock free guard zone rule. As that rock gets from Murphy, gets the hit, rolls to the side, will sit 1-2. So good result there as it rolls behind the guard. Looks like the Arsenault and McDermott match has just reached the 5th end break, so we'll try to update you shortly of the action across the sheets. So I've received the update there as Marion Arsenault takes a single in end number 5, so a 3-2 lead over on sheet B in that rematch of last year's provincial final. In our other feature game on sheet D, it's a 5-3 lead for Mary McKetton Driscoll over Teresa Breen, and Colleen Jones holds a 3-1 lead over Tanya Hilliard in their match up on sheet E. And that would be a big match for Jones, because should she maintain this result and get the win, it would send Tanya Hilliard down to 3-3, would move her Colleen Jones up to 3-3, and they'll be looking for Kristen McDermott to try to get the win, because a win for McDermott would send Marianne Arsenault to a record of 3-3. So again, if you are joining us from the matchup on sheet D, we are still there with in-arena audio and the video. We just are having some technical difficulties there, and we thank the crew from 360 Live who are doing a great job here with helping us fix anything going on out there. Yeah, and it looks like they did remedy any issues that they may have had over there on sheet D. So if you were tuning in for McKetton Driscoll and Breen, you can join up with the broadcast once again, or you can stick with us here on the McEvoy versus Brothers match. As we've been busy talking about some other things there. It looks like a big pile of yellow in the house there for Joe Brothers. So really trying to manufacture a big multiple point end at least to score a deuce. So looks like since I think I saw the ice makers are now finished the majority of their duties for during this draw, so some of them are now getting the opportunity to watch some of the action there. Of course, Tracy Froud and his crew leading the way, and we thank them for the great conditions that they've been giving us all week. So now that they've made the decision, looks like they're going to play the draw down on the outturn side. Try to protect that stone, sitting shot stone at the 8 foot, and the guarded, so to speak, stone at the top of the 8.
Well, I had a picked or something, but
It looks like it really came out a little bit crazy out of her hand. So that's one of the situations I always jokingly say it's a bit of that commentator's curse. So maybe sometimes the first time I seem to mention anything about ice, something like that happens. But again, oftentimes with just the way the nature of the game, sometimes it's inevitable. But does come to rest, guarding that stone just a little bit, does have the opportunity to still be accessible. As we see timeout called by Team McEvoy, so that will send Coach Bruce Lonis out to the ice to discuss the call with his team. Also, we'll send the coach for Team Brothers, Taylor Ardeal, out to talk with his team. So, very challenging situation here for Team McEvoy after just scoring a 3. They're already facing 3 in the house here. If you're Julie McEvoy, you really have to find a spot where you're able to just place it well enough to make it a little bit more challenging for Brothers while limiting some of the count. So the timeout over and play just about to resume.
We're drawing the 50-50 now, so pull out your tickets and we'll see the number.
So reminder once again, we would really appreciate it that if you're tuning in from anywhere in the world, we have a lot of viewers that tune in from all over the place, whether it's across Canada or even around the world. So if you want to let us know where you're tuning in from,
the winning number is
you can
449.
tweet me at John Siteman, Siteman, and
449.
pretty much as well on any other social media platform. My friends know that you can access find a way to access me there as well. Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do. So definitely get in touch with us there. As we see, this stone will come to rest short of the house. So potentially maybe a little bit of a setup shot to at least try to get a stone buried for a single. Yeah, you definitely need to put some thought as to where this one needs to go. It looks like they're gonna try to have it get in between those two yellow stones at the side of the 8-foot. A reminder once again, we will have wall-to-wall coverage from the first stone to the final celebration. We're at the very end of this event, of course. This is the last draw for today, but we will have 3 draws of action tomorrow at 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. Atlantic time, here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. And then it will be playoff Saturday, where we'll have the potential for tiebreakers. If that happens, that will take place on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. The women's semifinal would take place at 2 p.m. and the men's at 7. Of course, that is all pending the potential for tiebreakers, because last year we had 2 rounds of tiebreakers in the men's, which sent both semifinals to 7 o'clock at night. And then Sunday, we have the championship finals, which I will have the call for you live here as we determine our representatives for the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, taking place at Centre 200 in Sydney, February 16th to the 24th. Our women's final will be at 9 a.m. on Sunday, and at 2 p.m. the Deloitte Tankard final, where the winner will be headed off to Brandon, Manitoba, Westoba Place, March 2nd to the 10th for the Tim Hortons Brier. So facing 4 here with her final stone. Is Julie McEvoy without the last rock here in end number 6. Sweepers sweeping hard for the weight there. It's going to be a big drag trying to hold it in. Will it? The big question now, it looks like Moore wasn't too happy there once it came to rest, so looks like it would be potentially open. Now, if they can push that back a few stones width and stick, that could be a potential for 5.
Probably got a quarter of that stone, half that stone exposed for now.
Just needs to come down onto it, and if you do that, that would be a big count. And for a matchup that was pretty tight with those few single points in the first 3 ends, to have 2 big multiples in ends number 5 and 6, definitely a little bit of a shock, but again, doesn't matter how unorthodox the result is, as long as you're able to get that W in the end. That's what matters. in an event like this where every win will count as you go to determine those final three that will play for the spot in Sydney, wearing this year the host colors for the first time since 1992. Sweepers working on this early here. Murphy trying to hold the line there.
Had a hold. It's got that front one.
Will it stay enough? Will stay for at least a single point for sure. The question is between the one at T-line and the one at the back of the 8-foot. So definitely for sure it's at least 1 point there for Jill Brothers. So it will be Julie McEvoy with the last rock in end number 7 playing the Blue Stones. We'll try to update you as to what the official word is. So it's at least 4-3 in favor of Julie McEvoy.
She's got hammer.
With 2 games already through 6, as Mary McKetton Driscoll has extended her lead to 6-3 over Teresa Breen on sheet D, and that's our other feature game in this evening's matchups. And on sheet E, it is a single point end for Tanya Hilliard in end number 6. Colleen Jones up by 1, scores 3-2, playing end number 7. And Colleen Jones will have the last rock.
I couldn't get a good perspective.
So the sweepers not having to touch this there. They're trying to place that guard right on the center line. Will do so. So confirmed as a single point end in that last end. So 4-3 lead for Julie McEvoy. Playing the 7th end, McEvoy will have the last rock playing the Blue Stones. McEvoy looking to keep her hopes alive in this event. Needing at least a win here to set up a do-or-die match in the final round. McEvoy will have a matchup with Breen tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and Jill Brothers will have Mary McKetton Driscoll in that final round of play. Though not officially confirmed, I will most likely be bringing you the call from the Marianne Arsenault versus Colleen Jones matchup. But again, that is subject to change, so still tune in because we'd love to have you there. Thank you very much for tuning in wherever you are tuning in from. You are watching the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. As we see Jill Thomas looking to try to come down to that yellow stone. A little bit extra weight there, so will get a little bit of a flip. Does push yellow in for shot stone. So second stones here, Sarah Murphy. Sweepers working on it here early. Trying to hold the line, trying to get by the guard. Will it be enough?
No.
Will not.
Talking to Opie sometimes. I'm watching on TV.
Yeah.
So this is the interesting thing here. So the last time that a Dartmouth team did win this tournament, before, of course, Marion Arsenault, was actually containing two members of this Julie McEvoy rink, as the third Jennifer Krause and the lead Jill Thomas were playing for Nancy McConnery, the former three-time champion, as they headed off to the Scotties in 2010, representing Nova Scotia. As we see this stone here from Murphy, gets the hit, gets the bump, and will sit 1-2. So, update there, as it will be a big count of 2 there for Kristen McDermott to take a 4-3 lead over Marianne Arsenault. Arsenault will have the last rock in end number 7. That is a really big game, as it's the battle of last year's finalists. Of course, many of our viewers may remember last year it was the team of Arsenault, Black, Baxter, and Krause who picked up the 8-5 victory over Kristen McDermott. Of course, this is a little bit of a new look team, as you now see over there the former world junior champion Kristen Clark joining the Marianne Arsenault rink at lead stones. And we will have, I believe we will have them in the draw 7, but again, I may be wrong, so you can tune into any of our standings, results, statistics, and all the like by going to nscurl.com. That's the Nova Scotia Curling Association website here, as we see the stone from Krause going there. Will get the hit, will stick right there, goes by with the other, so shot stone belongs to Julie McEvoy. Aaron Carmody on the out-turn side looking for the hit. As this stone comes down the sheet, we will as well mention that Colleen Jones takes a deuce in end number 7 over on E. They're playing fast, as it's a 5-2 lead for the former Canadian champion and world champion against Hilliard, the former finalist as the 4th stone thrower for Teresa Breen. Krause going for the hit here. They can definitely, of course, get the front. Question is, will they get the other? They will not. They'll get the hit, roll over to the other side. Comes to rest pretty much level with the yellow stone on the far side of the house now. So I will mention there, when we come to you tomorrow morning in our men's draw 6 action, on sheet D we'll have Doug McKenzie versus Brent McDougall. D, we'll have Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc versus Kevin Ouellette. As we see a stone there from Brothers, gets the hit, rolls out the back, sits shot stone still on the other side. Coming up tomorrow morning, there will also be 2 big games as Jamie Murphy will play Chad Stevens. Both of those 2 are at 5-0, so one of those will have their first loss, and it will be a very critical loss, as whoever wins that will have the potential to go 7-0 and make the trip to Sunday's final. So some of our viewers may not be familiar with it. They're in Nova Scotia. The top 3 do make the playoff rounds. If there are any ties, we do break them out there on the ice, at least starting on Saturday morning. As we see a stone here from Julie McEvoy, gets the hit, will stick right there.
That was a straw one, yeah.
So Brothers will look for the hit once again, similar area to what she's been doing throughout this match. Sweeper's not touching it here, so definitely waiting for it to curl just that little bit. Will do so. Will it stay? It will be very, very, very. Looks like just simply the way they put the brush down, it looks like they're not worrying about that stone there, so it will be a throw through the house for Julie McEvoy to blank this end based on what he had. And yes, it will. So blank end in end number 7. Julie McEvoy will retain the last rock in end number 8. So it'll be a 4-3 lead for McEvoy. We would like to take a moment to thank some of our NSCA partners: Harding Medical, Tim Hortons, the curling store. And of course, we gotta thank the guys behind the scenes from 360 Live. And of course, we gotta also send a big thank you out. Of course, we've said it many times, but we gotta keep on saying it, of course, because it's 100% true. Thank you very much to the Dartmouth Curling Club for all their hard work they've been putting on this combined provincial event the past few years after taking over from the Mayflower Curling Club, and Dartmouth has really been putting on a really good show. It's gotten better every year. So as we start there, guard came on the center line, and Thomas comes right around it. Will come to rest at the top of the 4 foot. So the stone there from Team Brothers comes to rest there on just on top of that. Stone of Team McEvoy's. Shot stone remains the blue at the top of the 4 foot.
I didn't watch it. I hit a break, so I just caught it over the corner, went right over there, and went, oh, it's the second shot. Nice job.
Gets a hit, sticks right there, sits 1-2. So definitely gonna need there in this stone from Murphy.
Wow, perfect.
Gets a hit, gets a double. And though she may not be tuning in immediately there, I want to send a shout out to my friend Jordan Koss, who was just sending me a little have fun with the broadcast message from out in Regina. They're experiencing a little bit of cold temperatures out there, but very kind to send a little message before starting her 3-hour class over there at the University of Regina this evening. So hey Jordan, hope you have a good evening out there. As we see that stone roll, hit and roll out, so clear house here. Carmody sweeping a little bit there, trying to get curl just that little bit more. Does come to rest right on the button.
Might be okay.
Proud. He's still taller than Jim.
Oh yeah. Anyway.
So there we see more trying to get around there. Nudges the stone of Team Brothers off the button. So definitely a very clean house here as we're nearing the final ends of this contest. And looks like update of the big game over here on sheet B right next to us. It's at least a 2 for Marianne Arsenault, but they were calling the officials out for a measure on the third, so we'll keep you up to date on that. So it's at least a 5-4 lead for Marianne Arsenault through 7. So back to our game here on sheet C. Pretty clear house for Jennifer Kraus, with the exception of that one stone of Team Brothers out the back of the 12-foot. Moore and Thomas working on that one. Do get to come to rest at the back of the button. Sitting shot stone. So probably not fully protected. So opportunity for Carmody to come on down onto it.
And that was a great
Brian and Murphy working on this right from the start, trying to get it every inch that they can get it. And that was a really good sweep there as they come to rest right on the face, sitting shot stone.
Okay, we still got a few more. Wait, the girls can't do it.
An update there of the game on sheet B. It was a big 3-point end, so it's a 6-4 lead for Marianne Arsenault. Kristen McDermott will have the last in number 8 over there, playing the Yellow Stones. So sweeper's working on this one. Kraus trying to get by, will jam. So opportunity here for Jill Brothers. She can come right down to rest on top of that. And if she can place it just right, it could be a good opportunity to try to score a multiple point end.
Worked all day, Dave, on Selka's girl.
Yeah.
And Saturday, all day.
Kristen Clark?
That's the first he said, they're all last
Had the owner come in on
Yes.
Tuesday.
That's why she played with Mary Bay.
Yeah.
I thought she was still junior. No, just
So first to 2 here from Jill Brothers, the skip out of the Mayflower. So if you, I think I saw at least one of the players involved in the men's competition there, Matt Manuel, the former provincial junior champion, who I believe is an alternate in this event.
No, he's got his hand up.
Just coming in from the ice shed, he is as the alternate for Kendall Thompson.
Then, next thing I know, well, wait a minute, what is late? Next thing, okay, we're back. Then it's like, okay.
So pretty difficult shot here for
Okay, I'm still having.
Julie McEvoy with her first. She's going to have to try to run back a stone of her own color. correction, against her, because that is a yellow of Team Jill Brothers. So you gotta be careful depending on the way that you hit this, because you're not removing that stone at the button, but you would probably be moving your own. Update there, as it looks like Tanya Hilliard takes a deuce in end number 8. Still trails Colleen Jones 5-4. As we see run there from McEvoy does jam, so sits. Saying 1, 2, 3 is Jill Brothers. This is gonna be interesting. Depending on the way that they could play this, they could either play it like I think Carmody is suggesting of. Originally she was calling on a guard, but I think that they're looking at the opportunity to come in on the turn side.
I won't let Tony's sister come anymore every time she comes.
So it looks like that's what they're going to go for. So Jill Brothers sitting 3 right now, really putting themselves in a good position in this contest going into the final few. If she can force a steal out of Team Julie McEvoy, they'll be right back in this match. Murphy working on it early here. So it looks like they must have decided to go for that high guard, but it will over curl. Opportunity still there for contact on that. Looks like they're calling there Julie McEvoy. Looks like she's calling for the drawdown to it. Try to limit the count. So that'll be final stone here for McEvoy, facing 3, looking to limit the count. Sweepers working on this one early. Thomas and Moore really got to go here. It's coming down fast. Will it come down enough? Pretty close there. But signaling 1 yellow. Deal of 1 for Jill Brothers, and we are all tied up at 4 apiece through 8 ends of play. So we hope you are enjoying this matchup here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Julie McEvoy will retain the last rock in end number 9, playing the Blue Stones. And honestly, that's one of the situations where if you do give up that single point, you still do have the last rock in end number 9. So if it were me, you're probably trying to play this end a little bit clean and try to focus on attempting to get that last rock in 10, or if you do score here, score a multiple.
You're supposed to use the back of your hand.
On with end number 9 there as we see Jen Brine.
Hug like a honeymoon? Yes, very nice. Beautiful. Very nice indeed.
So Brine sets up the center. Looks like you're gonna see a shot that has been perfected, it seems, throughout especially the women's game, but it is in all aspects of the sport now. The tick shot, or as some people like to call it, the Weagle, affectionately named after the lead for Team Rachel Holman. So a little bit light on the tick. We'll send that stone into the top of the 8. So second stone here from Jen Brine, and well, we mentioned there, of course, there's lots of provincial events taking place this weekend. We do have a few teams who have already booked their ticket to Center 200 in Sydney, of course. Team Canada will be the defending champions, Jennifer Jones, out of the St. Vital in Winnipeg. Newfoundland and Labrador, it will be what appears to be, from what I can remember, a newer team to the national circuit. That is Kelly Sharp from the Remax Center in St. John's. Gabrielle Lavoie took the province of Quebec. Suzanne Bird will be returning to the Scotties representing Prince Edward Island. They've added Marie Christensen, who did play here last year. And the territories have already been decided there, with Nicole Baldwin representing the Yukon, Janine Bodner representing Nunavut, and of course the legendary, in my personal view there, Carrie Galusha of the Northwest Territories, a 15-time representative representing the territories at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
Like a honeymoon? No, you're short. Still very nice.
So we'll now see this hit from Sheena Moore, looking for contact. Get a bit of a roll here. Will stick nose. Rest biting the edge of the 12-foot. So expect to see a relatively clean style of play here now as the hits are exchanged between the two teams. Sarah Murphy gets it, will roll towards center line. Hit shot stone in the 8-foot. Some more looking for the hit once again. Kraus working on it here, trying to hold the line and get the curl now, and it will sit right nose once again. Update of our other feature game over on sheet D. It is a 7-5 lead for Mary Driscoll after a single point taken in end number 8. Teresa Breenwell at the last rock in end number 9 playing the Yellowstones.
Oh, they can get through because the screws are...
Sweepers working on that one, will get to nose. And this weekend there are, as mentioned, I believe it's about 5 provincial events, if I remember correctly. There is in Gimli, Manitoba, the Manitoba Scotties are currently taking place. I believe Ontario is taking place as well. They start on Monday, I believe. And one of the other big ones this weekend is Saskatchewan, which is being held at the Humboldt Curling Club. A former Nova Scotian now living out there, Christy Gamble, is competing in that event as the second Penny Barker. Of course, that's always a tough field with whoever is coming out of that province of Saskatchewan. But of course, we have to wish luck to our fellow Blue Noser, Christy, as she aims to represent that province at the Scotties in Sydney at Center 200. So, quick discussion there before this stone here. Kraus. So they're going to aim to draw around the guards. Really, if they can bury this one nice around it, it would be a really good result. This side has curled fairly well throughout the match. Sweeper's waiting on it here, and now it will come there. How far will it go? It will come to the back of the house, but does look to be. And that's one of those types of skills that you often see there at this level, that when you're seeing in like the curling club level, or especially I would often see it at the junior level, is call it the art of patient sweeping. Because as you saw there, you could have had them sweeping a little bit more, and that would have caused it to be a bit further back and probably not in as much as usable a position. But they took their time, waited for it to break, and got the result. It's one of those types of skills that puts these teams at such a high level. skip stones here. Jill Brothers all tied up, but without the last rock in this 9th end of play. And gets the tap. There, so sit shot stone, side button. And oh my gosh, I did not even see that. Over on sheet B, I think that the Arsenault and McDermott fans may be having a little bit of a heart attack here, as it's a 3-point end in 8 for McDermott to take a 7-6 lead. So a nail biter in that one between last year's finalists. Arsenault the champion, McDermott the runner-up. One looking to hold their spot and keep their hopes alive. The other hoping to keep firm on the road to Scotties at Centers 200. So McEvoy puts the brush down for Kraus and heads on down to the hack for her first in this 9th end of play.
Oh my god, no. To the next screen.
So McEvoy looking to the yellow. Sweeper's waiting on it to curl. Will it curl enough? And just that little bit of extra weight will push it by and out the back. So definitely a little bit of a miss there, as we do have our first final on sheet E, as it'll be a 9-4 victory for Colleen Jones over Tanya Hilliard after a 9-end match. So that is a big game there, as Hilliard will fall to 3-3. Colleen Jones will jump to 3-3. And should the match over on B stay the way that it is, it would set up a 3-way tie for 3rd place in this Scotties Tournament of Hearts going into the final round. Sweepers working on this one here, Murphy and Brine. Comes to rest just at the edge of the 12-foot. So not much opportunity at any multiple point end here, so it's going to be a force. It looks like, based on this, it looks like they may be calling for the, I'm guessing it's kind of looking at the run back, because if you do angle that back about just a little bit off a nose on the left side of the rock, it will come back enough to get contact and be able to score your deuce. Big shot for McEvoy here in this 9th end. Deadlocked at 4. Final stone facing 1 here, looking for A score this end. Right now it's a stolen point for Jill Brothers. Gets the hit. Will it get there? Will just narrowly miss yellow. And it will be a steal of one for Jill Brothers to take a 5-4 lead coming into the final end here. Hope you are enjoying this matchup live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. This is the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. I'm John Seitman, and I've been honored to bring this one to you here, and I will be with you live for all remaining draws right through to Sunday's. We hope to have you tuning in as we look to determine our representatives who will be off to, and for this event, to Center 200 to represent Nova Scotia on home soil time since 1992. As that event will be back in Nova Scotia. Taking place February 16th to the 24th, and I'm sure many of our viewers will either be potentially tuning in on TSN for that action, or potentially coming up to the arena to watch a lot of the competitions. There will be a lot of fun, like any major national event. One of the ones that will definitely be, for sure, will be a bunch of junior curlers from around Nova Scotia competing in the hit, draw, and tap competition, which the will be out on the arena ice at Center 200. And what an opportunity for those juniors to get the experience of playing in a major competition on the arena ice.
All the time. Yeah, whatever. I'm doing it since day one, so it's not that I want to do it.
I was pretty fortunate to, back 2013, I got to go up to Port Hawkesbury for Grand Slam of Curling event and had the opportunity given to me by Pierre Charette, the president of the world, to come out on the ice and along with some other juniors and get that experience playing out there. And boy, to get to play on arena ice, it's definitely a treat. So definitely jealous of those juniors getting the opportunity to play at Scotties as we see guard come to rest center line. And we will also send a little shout out to our Canada Games representatives, Team Young and Team Moore, who are just about ready to head off to the Canada Winter Games. They're having a pep rally, so to speak, there to wish Team Nova Scotia well in all the sports as they head off to the Canada Winter Games. That's going to be an exciting event out in Red Deer. So back to our game here. Shot stone at the back of the button. Belongs to Team Brothers, looking for the opportunity to steal this win. Team McEvoy wanting that single to send this game to extra time. So second stone here, Sheena Moore. Trying to draw down onto it. Just jams off the side. Shot stone still remains, it appears to be Team Brothers, so that's gonna call on their second, Sarah Murphy, to play the draw down on the inside, just land on the lid. Holding the single for sure. Sweeper's not touching it, so looks a little bit up.
It's high, but I expect it should be okay.
Now coming down, so it should be good. Brian working on it here, trying to get a little bit of extra curl. Will nudge it enough to give a little bit of backing. But you're definitely going to see the hit and roll here from Sheena Moore. Kraus and Thomas working on this one here, working hard trying to hold the line. It's there for the double. We'll get there and we'll get the shot for three. Big shot for Team McEvoy as they go from potentially down game to holding three and really in a huge position in the match. So it's very difficult to see really where to get access. They're going to try to draw to the top of the forefoot at least. Enough to, if they can get a little bit of a piece of the button, that would really put them in a good position and to have the opportunity to at least cut down. But definitely what a change in this matchup. That is probably, I'll jokingly call it the Bell big play of the game. Gets the draw there, will cut down to one. This is a good game so far, so we really appreciate you all for sticking with us right down to the end. There's still a lot more curling left. Kraus looking for the run, gets the movement and will sit 1-2. But opens up a few opportunities back to the button. A reminder that when we come to you tomorrow at 9 a.m., we'll have men's draw 6 action in the Deloitte Tankard. As it appears we will see timeout called. So that will bring Taylor Ardeal and Bruce Lonis out to the ice. Tomorrow here on Sheet C, we will have Doug McKenzie versus Brent McDougall. And on Sheet D, we'll have Ian Fitzgerald-Blanc versus Team Kevin Ouellette. So definitely a very difficult position. You really have to. It's challenging to play that precise because just simply where it would move the top stone would leave, it's still accessible. And a wild game continues over there on sheet B as deuce for Marianne Arsenault in end number 9 to take an 8-7 lead coming home. Kristen McDermott will have the last rock in end number 10, N10, playing the Yellow Stones. So definitely, they're looking at where the back stones will jam, so that could be the possibility. This is on Aaron's, and Aaron is calling, trying for the possibility at either playing a little bit of extra weight. Both teams definitely, with time still left to play the remainder of this end. Team Brothers, 3 minutes and 37 seconds left, but they're definitely trying to save some time for the skipper, so looks like they're calling for what will be the slash, try to get contact on the shot stone and try to get the push out to side to try to sit your 3. At least try to sit shot stone is the goal.
Apparently, yeah, it's expanded. I think it's
Big shot here for Carmody. Murphy working on it here. Called off. Now Brian jumping back in. Gets the hit, moves, blew out the back, will still leave shot stone belonging to Julie McEvoy there. We will keep you up to date on the 3 games remaining in play here. This game, of course, and in addition to the 2 games left in play on either side of us.
Richard's team is leading by 7-6.
There, so good result there from Jennifer Kraus to hold 2. My apologies. I was looking there at the camera angle that we have of the overhead. I did not see the stone in the back, so it is 3 for Julie McEvoy. So big pressure moment for the former national champion at the junior level and former Nova Scotia champion Jill Brothers. As Brothers hopes to stay at the top of the table, currently at 4-1. A loss by her would really bring the possibility at Hilliard, Jones, and potentially Arsenault, depending on the result of this game next door. Could bring all those 3 teams into a very interesting playoff position. So Brothers gets a draw there. Looks like it's a good part of the 4 foot, so shot stone Opportunity to get the hit, flop over and really protect the path toward the button.
Pushing into the 4-foot, she comes. The same shots you just did.
Big final few stones here in this matchup as Julie McEvoy trying to hold on to position that could get a chance at the win. Sweeper's working on it here. Thomas and Moore gets the hit, gets the roll, and will sit there for a count of 4. So no choice now for the former champion Jill Brothers. You need the double. You need to put your shooter in a position that makes it difficult to remove and put the pressure back on McEvoy. Facing 4 here without the last rock. Murphy on it early here.
On the outside, like I said, that's not where she wanted.
On the outside there, so still sits second shot. And the yellow is behind the guard, so now it's simple enough. You get any piece of the 4-foot, you get yourself a win over Jill Brothers. Anything short of that, and it could be off to extra time. As it does appear that they did call their timeout to try to just give themselves that extra few seconds that they need to make this big shot. Final stone in end number 10. Looking for 2 to get herself a win over Jill Brothers. Looking for the 4-foot. Will come to rest for a count of 2. Make the final 6-5. Julie McEvoy over Jill Brothers. So Jill Brothers drops down to 4-2. Julie McEvoy jumps up to a record of 3-3 and keeps her hopes alive. So when we come to you tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will have on sheet C Doug McKenzie versus Brent McDougall in men's draw 6 action of the Deloitte Tankard. So until we talk to you again, on behalf of our crew behind the scenes at 360 Live, I'm John Seitman saying good night from the Dartmouth Curling Club, and we'll see you back for McKenzie versus McDougall.